Right. Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome to our every Monday product Zoom, or it will change eventually to health conditions and stuff. But today we are highlighting our men's and women's multivitamin. So most of us assume, as we should, that we are getting all the nutrients that we need from our diet, right? I mean, we would think we eat healthy foods, we're eating our fruits and vegetables and our meats and all that stuff. But the problem is we're not getting the right amount of nutrients from our food anymore. Okay, in a perfect world, yes, but this is by far a perfect world. So what's going on? Why are we not getting these nutrients? First of all, our soil is depleted from nutrients, and what grows in our soil is the food that we eat. Even if, just an example, even if it's we're eating a hamburger, and the cow is also eating the nutrients in depleted soils. Just all in all, our food is not as nutritious as it once was. But there's also things that further deplete our bodies from nutrients. Okay, this is toxins. We live in a very toxic world. And no matter how much we work to control our toxic exposure, it's impossible to get away from it all unless we were living in a bubble, which we're not. So we have a toxic exposure, we have stress, we have lack of sleep. Unfortunately, most of us do have a poor diet. You know, it's the SAD diet. It's the standard American diet. Okay, a lot of us are consuming the foods that we should not eat. All of this stuff further depletes our bodies from its nutrients. So we're not getting it from our food, and then we have things that's further depleting it. And these nutrients that I'm talking about are actually, most of them are essential vitamins. Like, what does that mean? It means we need to get them from our diet. So if we're not getting them from our diet, or if our body is being further depleted from it from external factors, I mean, we are deficient in nutrients that our body needs every single day. And insert our men's and women's multivitamin, right?
Yeah.
So again, like I just said, we have a men's and a women's, and Ryan is here to start off telling you why men's and women's, what makes them different from each other.
Yeah, good solid intro, Lisa. Yeah, I agree. Like they say, 92% of people are deficient in at least one vitamin or mineral. Nine out of 10 people have some deficiency, right? But when we looked at multivitamins, we said, oh, geez, opinions are varied. There's a lot of opinions on how to and what to put into a multivitamin to get the most out of it. And so, after doing a significant amount of research and trying to settle on how we've thought of what a multivitamin should provide, we did decide to go with a men's and a women's. The women's version there's some slight differences. We'll get into some of those. But the high level, the women's version has iron, has a cranberry extract for urinary tract health, because we know females tend to have a higher incidence of urinary tract infections. And then we also increase the amount of folate, and we'll get into the folate and the B vitamins here in just a minute. Those are the main. I'm sorry, the men also. The men's version has lycopene, which has been shown to be very beneficial for prostate health. It's a potent antioxidant, very, very beneficial for prostate health. Yeah,
awesome.
Those are the main differences.
Okay, and there are a few very important key factors that make our multivitamin unique.
Yeah.
Go ahead and talk about those.
Yeah. All right. Well, so you'll just have to cut me off and interrupt me as you feel fit.
Or if it gets too scientific.
Well, that could probably happen here with B vitamins, of course. But really, at the end of the day, I mean, nutrient deficiencies are a huge problem in society. You're seeing skin disorders. You're seeing definitely immune dysfunction. Vision, we're having vision problems, vision loss at an unprecedented level. We're having unwanted, unexpected weight gain, more cancers, more diabetes, more blood pressure. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, and guess what it all ties back to? So it really does tie back to nutrient deficiencies and inflammation. But you'll see in here today that even just talking about B vitamins, the role it plays in coding for protein, coding for genes and DNA, and like literally the central dogma of life, the essence of life. So that was it's a very important topic. People think of multivitamins as boring, and and the old school thought was that actually food would provide everything you needed, and it's just not true anymore. Leading authorities in the preventive health space are all now recommending multivitamins. Whereas years ago, many providers would just be like, no, they would say it's expensive urine, body just flushes it out. It's really not the case. That's really not the case at all. So we were very intentional with our multivitamin design. We were very purposeful. And so I'm going to talk about some of the things that we left out first, unless we'll start with why we left some things out. You'll notice there is no calcium in our multivitamins. Starting with calcium, and same with some of the other things. Like we left out calcium, left out magnesium, left out vitamin D. These are intentional. A, they can interfere with one another. They can compete for the transport system across the intestines and the stomach. B, they can chelate together. They can bind together and prevent absorption. And also, really, there's if you're taking calcium or if you're really looking to take magnesium and vitamin D, there should be intention. You should be taking those with intention. You should have a goal. You should know what salt form you're taking and why and for how long and how much. And you just lack control when it's in a multivitamin. You lack control of dose. You lack control of timing, and you lack control of, say, like I said, the type of vitamin or mineral that we're talking about here. So,
and it's true too. Like say vitamin D was put in here, or in other multis. You see it in other multis. It's just like a sprinkling of it. It's actually not enough. Right?
Well, no, I've seen some. You're right, for the most part, yes. But I have seen some multis that do put enough vitamin D in there, but I would still say that they're knocking something else out.
Right.
Right.
Can't fit it all.
Yeah, can't fit it all in. And again, you'd want to be able to move that vitamin D dose based on blood work or based on how you're feeling or whatever it might be, and you just lack that control in a multivitamin.
Okay.
So, all right. So the way we looked at this is like, of course, like Lisa said, we wanted to put the essentials. So you got a lot of essential vitamins in here. We obviously have the B complex. We highlight the B complex because Lisa and I both had taken B vitamins separately, paid a lot of money just to get a healthy, good B complex. But we incorporated that in here because, again, it's essential. And we're seeing that many people are not getting enough of it out of their diet. And that's where you would typically get it because it's essential. Remember, the body does not make B vitamins. So there is a couple of scientific things we need to talk about, though, to really understand why we chose the types of B vitamins we did. Sometimes you'll hear me use the word methylation. That's a big one. Bioavailability, that's another big one. So we'll start with the folate. So because there's a lot of questions that always come in. Why this form of folate? Why is it natural folate? Is it synthetic folate? And people get real lost in the terms and use whether it's folate, folic acid, or methylated folate, that whole thing. So just know this, okay? Folate is such an important B vitamin. It is so important for every system in the body, and it's because but when it's consumed, when it's ingested, it has to go absorb and get converted into a different form of folate. So folate that is ingested is not active. It's not bioavailable. It's not bioactive. It has to be absorbed and it has to be changed and methylated into a different form. And then once that happens, that form then provides the body with everything else it needs to carry out its normal function. So why is that important? So we chose to go with a branded B vitamin. You'll see it on the label called folate. It's called quatropholate. Now that means that it's the bioactive form of folate. That allows the body to use it immediately and not have to go through that intermediary step. That intermediary step is coded by a gene called MTHFR. Lisa's eyes probably light up. She has the variant for the MTHFR gene. So what that means is that people aren't really able to effectively metabolize or change the dietary folate into the bioactive form of methylfolate.
Right. So if I were to take it not bioactive, not ready,
Yep.
I probably would not absorb
That's right.
anything from
So
it.
if you took, say, synthetic folic acid or even dietary folate, you could have a lot of trouble getting that form to methylated form, getting it to the bioactive form of folate. And folate, like we said, it plays such a significant role in all body systems. Folate is considered, it would be like a methyl donor. So now we start talking about methylation. And methylation is the process of helping the body carry out its normal function. It's heavy duty involved in detoxification. Right? Methylation is really important in detoxification, say, of heavy metals. It's important in energy metabolism. It's important in gene coding. It's important in DNA synthesis. And it's a really important process for every aspect of the body and general health. So not being able to have that methylated or bioactive form of folate would mean that you're now deficient in a lot of different areas and things can really start to happen that are not in a good way, right? And that's why you'll hear me refer to as our folate as methylated as well as our B12. So our B12 is methylcobalamin. So there is the methylation sort of discussion and how that plays a role in the bioavailability and what the body's able to use.
And B vitamins, I'm sure most of you know, but we always think if you're low in energy, oh, I need a B12 supplement, right? So again, that is provided for you in here. So the B vitamins really help with energy, which is also another reason why we recommend taking your multivitamin at the earlier part of the day, right?
Oh, sure.
Just so it doesn't affect our sleep.
Yeah, I know, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, look, in B12, my father had bad peripheral neuropathy. It could have been related to a deficient anemia, probably. But B12 deficiency is becoming more and more common too. We've seen a lot of this, a lot of alcohol abuse, poor diet, sedentary lifestyle. Of course, if you have the MTHFR gene variant, which by the way, they estimate about 60% of us have a variant. I know 25% of Hispanics have documented, probably 15% of Caucasians documented, but most people don't go out and get a genetic test. She did have it. She's positive for that variant, but ultimately it just means you need to be more aware of your dietary folate.
Okay, so I went through B vitamins.
Yeah.
What's another big one with this pretty little flower?
No, sure. Yeah, sure. So what else did we do? We added a marigold extract. So this is actually the marigold flower that we have growing outside. The marigold, and what gives it the color, the bright colors, the oranges and yellows and all that is the pigments, the lutein and the zeaxanthin. The lutein and zeaxanthin are the pigments of the marigold flower, but they're also pigments in the back of our retina. Okay. And they absorb blue light is their primary function. And they've now been studied and shown to assist and to prevent age-related macular degeneration. I think there's a positive effect in glaucoma and other vision-related diseases.
And there was more too with the lutein and zeaxanthin. I just came across a study on this. And it was, lutein is also found in the brain. Hitting of it's important for cognitive function.
Oh, sure. Yep.
Right. So now we have to think of a lot of that. It's not just the eyes, but like cognitive function. Okay, we got that.
I'd say it's a funny thing because it's absorbing blue light. I mean, look at over the last 30 years, 25, really, we've been spending so much more time on phones and computers and sitting in front of bright lights and working indoors. So the blue light has been a really huge contributing factor to our, say, vision strain and vision loss.
Sure. And another thing with vision is, diabetic retinopathy, right? People, if you have diabetes, you tend to have the difficult issues with your eyes, which can also help. And it was also this study that said, if you have dementia, you're more than likely deficient in lutein, which crosses the blood-brain barrier and has a protective anti-inflammatory effect. Okay, I mean, I know I actually have an aunt with dementia, and it's a very sad thing. So it's just something you always want to just be aware and cognizant of. Like, there's things that you can take to help prevent this.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And there's the AREDS and AREDS 2 study, AREDS, and they conclusively said that the lutein and zeaxanthin had a beneficial impact on those areas specifically related to vision.
Right. And I actually get emails quite a bit. Do we have something to help with vision? So boom, right here, easy peasy, your multivitamin. Okay, so we went through the bees, the marigold extract, the differences between, so I get emails a lot about the prostate support. Another email question I often get is for postmenopausal women that are told to avoid iron.
What do you tell them?
Well, I always recommend taking the men's multivitamin as it's formulated without iron. Yes, it also has not lutein.
What, lycopene?
Lycopene, thank you, for prostate support, but lycopene is also, beneficial for anybody.
It is.
Yeah, so that's what I always recommend right now. Possible in the future, formulating a women's multivitamin, for postmenopausal women, but as of this point in the game, we are recommending the men's multi for those that cannot have iron.
But I assume you tell people that if they've not been told to avoid iron, they don't need to avoid
Correct.
iron.
Just because you're postmenopausal does not mean you have to avoid iron. This typically comes from your doctor based on blood work.
Yeah, sure. Iron overload, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, what else?
Other questions? I know we get a lot of
Best time to
questions
take, we kind of covered that. right?
Yeah, sure.
Just
Take it in the
intake.
morning. Another reason why you'll see that I left magnesium out, again, not only does it compete for absorption with others, but I said, I want to control the dosing, control the salt form, make sure you can take it in the afternoon and the evening. So the multivitamin would be a morning with food. There is enough of the ingredients, like the B vitamins are water soluble, but there are some other things in here that are fat soluble. That's why you'll hear me say, take it with food. It can't hurt. It can only improve the absorption, and just be regular with it. If you do, try to take it with food every single day. And that would be more beneficial for you.
Right.
As well.
Also, if some vitamins tend to make you nauseous.
Sure.
I mean, and a lot of times like the B vitamins can do that. So taking them with food really eliminates that 100%. Our prices too, I mean, $9.95 for members.
Oh, wow.
$17.95 for non-members.
Right.
I mean, this is so easy. Again, this is something that we need to take every day. So just under $10 will get you 30 days worth of a multivitamin. There is absolutely no excuse.
There is none.
This is also, if you've looked at our daily essentials pack, this is also part of our daily essentials pack. Okay, because it means we need to take these every single day. Would you click on this one?
Yeah, go ahead. No, it's funny. You bring up the price, and I never think about it, but it's such an insurance policy. It is the way to look at it is just totally like, we insure everything else in our lives. We insure, our cars, our homes, our lives, our lives through life insurance in different aspects. But, it's like when you think about preventive health and think about the backstop and the insurance policy of a multivitamin, it just makes sense, especially at that dollar amount. There's definitely comparable multivitamins on the market are $40, $50, $60, right? I mean, that's what we were buying before.
Correct.
Yeah.
Question on here, when is the men's multi? Because at this point, I know this is going to be recorded, so it's always going to be there. But at this point, we had ran out of stock of the men's multi. But guys, it's back. So go online, order it today.
Yeah,
it is in stock, and I just double checked to make sure I wasn't telling lies. It is available to order online already.
Yes, it is.
Any other thoughts? Trying to
I have a lot of thoughts on
yes, of course.
There's so many things to discuss.
Right.
I just try not to get too long-winded on it because you're at 12:17 right now. We always say let's keep this under 15 to 20 minutes. But I just get hooked. I get so hooked on the B vitamin complex along with the other essentials you're not getting, because they're cofactors in so many important enzymes and even neurotransmitters and hormones. I mean, so if you're not getting enough folate, if you're not getting enough B12, we also have, the whole B complex. So you have biotin for hair, skin, and nails. Look, they tell as a prenatal, you need to get folate. The CDC has come out publicly as a public statement that says we're not getting enough folate from our diet. And so it's like, okay, especially pregnant women, of course, because it can have neural tube defects and has genetic, that has been well documented. So it's like, yeah, the importance, the validation is there.
Right. And also, if you either are a vegetarian, vegan, or just don't
B12.
consume much meat, especially red meats, I mean, you are more than likely depleted in your B12.
No doubt.
You need to work even harder to get those nutrients.
Yep.
So
B12 is only present in animal foods.
Yeah.
Not in plants.
Yeah. So extremely important. These men's and women's multivitamin. Make sure if you haven't been taking it, you get on there, you order yours today.
Come on, guys, get your lutein and zeaxanthin. Check it out.
All right, guys, any other questions that you think of after this, please email me, lisa@livegood.com. Love helping out with your emails.
Before we go to gluten-free, soy-free, dairy-free, common allergen-free,
non-GMO.
Yeah, non-GMO. The capsules are in vegetable caps.
Right.
Vegetable capsules.
Yep.
No dyes, of course, no unwanted fillers, no added binders or additives, anything of that nature. So
Awesome.
yeah. All right, cool.
All right, guys, thank you very much.
All right, that's it. Y'all have a great and super productive Monday.
Bye.